Om. 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 We are in chapter 14 Bhagavad Gita today. The title of this chapter is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, with 27 verses. This chapter refers to the three characteristics or the qualities of the material nature. Krishna has been describing self-knowledge from chapter 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 5, 5 was Dhyana Yoga, 6, and in 13 he mentioned about Purusha and Prakriti, Kshetranyan and Kshetran. Here in verse 1, he starts in chapter 14, I'm going to repeat this knowledge once again. Once you acquire this, it will never be lost. Upon knowing, understanding, realizing this, one attains liberation from the bondages, sufferings, and sorrows. Earlier sages and saints, rishis have attained this and they have become one with me. Just like a salt doll, when it dissolves into the water, it becomes one with the ocean water. Such realized ones have no rebirth, he says. In verse 3, he says, everything that appears is due to my power. That power is called Maya. That is also referred as Prakriti or nature. I am the seed. He refers here as Maya as Maha-Brahman. Maha-Brahma. Just like all activities happening with the five senses, both internal and external, are happening because of that one Atman. I am the Nirguna Brahman. Everything happens because of me. But with three gunas, I am referred to as Saguna Brahman, which is generator, operator, dissolver. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are Saguna Brahman. They are the avatars of Nirguna Brahman. They are the power of Nirguna Brahman. I am the intelligent cause, he says. Here he refers to Brahma, which is four-faced. The power is my power is the material cause for all activities and happenings that around the world. So Brahma is the generator, is the material cause, sole cause for everything else is an effect. Maya, Prakriti, or nature, we can call it as also referred as Brahma. That Brahma's power, that Brahma itself is a Saguna Brahma, that power is three gunas. And that Brahma is also, we can call or Maya is also called as Brahma, another name for Maya. So Maya is, you can call Maya as Prakriti or nature or Brahma with a double A, not Brahman. Brahman is Nirguna Brahman. So this Maya has three gunas, qualities, attributes, characteristics, you can say. Maya then modifies everything with three gunas. Actually, Maya modifies with three gunas. The Maya, the Prakriti, has got no independent existence. It is leaning on that Nirguna Brahman, that Supreme. This Maya is of whatever, so whatever comes out of that Maya also has three gunas, right? Just like the clay. In multiple parts are there, but all parts are only from clay. They are only clay, but we say it's a part. We call it with different names. This is a flower pot, this is a vase, this is a planting pot. We call it with different names, but everything is but only clay. Similarly, we have different ornaments. We call it different bracelet and chain and different with different names. But what is only gold. So he says all manifested and all unmanifested. It is all me. Therefore, the entire galaxy, universe, the entire universe, including this body and mind, have three gunas. They are all coming from that Saguna Brahman. which is Maya. Because my body, this body and mind is also made up of 5 elements. Everything is made up of 5 elements. These 3 gunas binds the jiva to the body, mind, and intellect. That is indestructible. Ever-present Atma is bound to this body. That is the reflected consciousness. Purusha, we went through Purusha, Chaitanya, and Dehi. So he's just giving different names for emphasis. Just like the heat is of fire, Prakriti is of 3 gunas. Prakriti is nature, Prakriti is Maya. That which never exists. The definition of Maya is that which never exists, but it appears to exist. It's an illusion. It is a Trigunatmika, 3 gunas. It has no independent existence. You cannot say this is Maya. It only appears. It is indescribable, creative force. So example is given as black color. If you take a black color, it absorbs all the colors. Black has all the colors. It does not reflect anything. That is darkness. That is ignorance. So there are 3 primary colors, red, blue, and green. And when you mix them in equal proportions, 50%, then you get secondary colors. When primary colors and secondary colors are mixed in equal proportion, then you get tertiary colors. Then you further mix them, you get quaternary, scenary, septenary, that is 7, octenary, nonary, denary, which is tenfold. So that is exactly how the one Nirguna Brahman transformed into 3 gunas and then 5 tanmatras, which are space, air, fire, water, earth, and keeps multiplying. One appears as many. Now the questions arises, what are the attributes of gunas, qualities of gunas? How these gunas can cause bondage in a human? How can one identify in which guna am I in? And then the benefits of gunas. He is going to answer all these 4 questions. So Sattva guna is the first one. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva guna is the guna of purity and harmony. Being harmony with everything that we see and experience. Rajas is the quality of energy, movement, activity, ambition, change. Tamaguna is the qualities of darkness, ignorance, and illusion. So how first one is qualities or attributes of gunas. Second question is how they cause bondage in human. He's going to answer both. In verse number 6, he's talking about sattva guna. So sattva guna is the guna of purity and harmony. That means without any likes and dislikes. Equanimous attitude. That is sattva guna. It is luminous knowledge in itself. It is not knowledge of something. It is consciousness with a capital C, not conscious of something. If I'm conscious of something, a pen, then that is my intellect, my mind. But I am consciousness. So it is consciousness. These are the attributes of Sattva Guna. Krishna says for spiritual progress, one must move on from Tamo Guna to Rajo Guna. When we are in Tamo Guna, we are lethargic, ignorant. Only through physical and mental activities, one can move from Rajoguna to from Tamoguna to Rajoguna, and then Rajoguna to Sattva Guna. And then one has to go beyond gunas, beyond this duality. That he is referred here in chapter 14 as Gunatitan, beyond gunas. So verse 6 is explaining that Prakashatmakam, that means luminous. How does Sattva Guna bind a human? Sattva Guna is happiness, peace, knowledge. That is a desire that I need to know more. I need to learn more. I need to understand more. The quest for knowledge. That is Sattva Guna. Second one is I need a peaceful atmosphere. That is a desire to know more, learn more, understand more. And as long as that thirst for knowledge is there, mental peace is not possible. And as long as I need a peaceful atmosphere, the mental peace is again not possible. Because in this universe, there is no peaceful environment. You are just sitting in your room, still you hear the car sound, truck sound, auto driver, and birds chirping. Such people find it very difficult with people with Rajoguna and Tamoguna at home. Many would like to live alone. Those days we had joint families, several cultures around the globe, in Asia, India, Pakistan, countries like China, Japan, African countries also, Nigeria, Ghana, including Latin America and America. They all had joint families thousands of years ago. Thus, they are bound to Sattva Guna now. They want independence, they want privacy, they want peace, they want to learn more. So they constantly look for a peaceful atmosphere, calm and quiet place, reading, listening without any sorts of distractions. Verse 7 is Rajoguna, Ragatmakam, which is desires. Raga means desires. These have desires to get what they want and what they do not have, and a strong attachment to what they have already. Therefore, they are constantly involved in activities because they have these desires. While working, they tend to overwork, long hours, double duty, second jobs, side business, and keep on upgrading their skills. These are desirable, of course, but not at all times. They have desires that needs to be fulfilled. Like we can call it type A personality, always on the run, in the rat race. People with such desires and attachments are bound, that is in Rajoguna, always active. Now we go to verse 8, Tamoguna. This guna gives delusion, fallacy, ignorance, and obsession. It's referred to as mohatmakam, delusional. Ignorance of the self, who am I, is a cause of not knowing that is the cause of all sufferings. Individuals with predominantly more tamoguna are careless, lethargic, sleepy, not active, not alert. We can see that among children, especially teenagers, they're just always in the bed and relaxing, not active. And we can always, parents tell them, come on, get up, do something, go and play. So you are moving them from tamoguna to rajoguna. So such individuals neither are physically active nor do they get involved in intellectual activities, just dragging their life without any good ambition, aspiration, or any building any relationships or a meaningful life. That's why early on we start with board games, children, or go and run and play outdoor games. That way you are making them from tamoguna to rajoguna. So summary of three gunas from bottom up. Delusion is tamoguna. Everything has a particular value, but when we overpay, say for a music concert or a movie, it costs X amount, but we make a premium payment. So movie tickets $50, now you pay $150. Or even Olympics, one ticket I was Googling and it's $60, but then people are ready to pay $1,100 because that is tamoguna. You overpaying everything without thinking about it. Or another example of tamoguna is somebody passes away in the family or friend circle, and then naturally the family is in deep sorrow. And it is not advisable to go and talk about Vedanta. Oh, Atma never dies. Don't worry about it. We can't say those things because they are not ready to listen to the situation. They are emotionally disturbed. I remember when my father passed away and my mother passed away, also people came and told me that because these are half-baked cookies. You know this is the truth, but in transactional life, we want to be very loving and caring and have that empathy. So you don't go and preach at that time. because but then particular person that also I experienced for last family member completely immersed in that sorrow, unable to function, depressed due to that loss. That event is not, but by being that, that event is not going to change. It cannot undo it, right? But losing oneself, getting succumbed to that situation is tamoguna. I know one of my friends in California, she lost her parents, both parents in the same year, and she was completely depressed. And within 2 years, she also passed away. So those things are tamoguna. Something I would say conscious living is necessary. What do I mean by that? Live in the present. Be active, do the best, be honest to yourself. Some people always do haphazard work, carelessness. Once in a while, it's okay, it happens. But reading the newspaper and just throwing it here and there, multiple pages, you, how it comes, keep it as is. Or eating and drinking and then leaving the cups and plates in different places. That's why big cities have big signboards. If you see that, you can see that do not touch, it is dangerous with a skull, because they know people are careless. So it is important to be very conscious of what we are doing at all times. So especially to come to Vedanta, to spirituality, not religion, to come to spirituality, one needs to be like a stork or a crane, which stands in water like a statue, and for hours, fully focused without any distraction to catch that fish. So physical exhaustion, mental fatigue are very different from laziness, lethargic attitude. These are tamoguna. So I have a quote, when you rest, R-E-S-T, you rest, R-U-S-T. So you want to be active at all times. So raga, that is tamoguna. Now we go to ragatmakam, which is rajoguna. Just like the fire, when in the fire, it keeps asking for more log of wood to consume. We have seen forest burning. Desires keep on asking for more and more, and it will keep on burning. Rajoguna is better than tamoguna, but tamoguna is lethargic, sleeping all the time, not active. That is tamoguna. Rajoguna is hyperactive, no sleep. We have seen many youngsters nowadays, they go to bed like 2 o'clock in the morning, especially IT, if you have seen that. But that is all Rajoguna, always active. They have aspirations, dreams, desires. They do not know when to stop. Thus, Rajoguna binds an individual to this whirlpool. Rajoguna appears to transform that Atma, Akarta, to Karta. Food and work should be in moderation. We have seen that in chapter 6, Gita, Dhyana Yoga. So whenever we are constantly physically and mentally active, not only that we don't pause to study Vedanta, to study anything, to question about life, but enter into the self-inquiry. But we also cannot develop single-pointed focus. Concentration will be lost. Mind is constantly agitated. It has got multiple things going on. Continuous thought flow. So that's why relaxation meditation precedes the concentration meditation in chapter 6. Even to attend this class, it takes few minutes to be in the grasping mindset, especially if you are doing something before or you are planning to do something after, mind will be thinking about those things. So it's better to just relax 5-10 minutes before these Vedantic classes. So that way your mind is ready to grasp, to be able to grasp and what is heard. Otherwise, what happens is you hear the words, but you don't get the content, the shabda. You only hear the sound. So mental fatigue is much deeper than physical exhaustion. Body needs activities that is normal, natural for all organs to be flexible and functional. But these activities will not take one to Jnana Yoga. Those who are in Rajoguna are constantly in action. That is why Swami Vivekananda spoke to the people, Uttishta Jagrata. That is, get up, wake up, do something. To move from Rajoguna to move to Rajoguna from Tamoguna is possible only by performing activities. For those who are in Rajoguna, there is always mental agitation, anxiety, some thoughts or the other from the past or the future. Absolutely unwanted thoughts most of the time. Their mouth or tongue will be always talking or they will be always munching. Body does not sit quietly. It will be shaking, doodling, doing something. Thus, Rajoguna binds individuals to always activities. Now, we go to Sattva Guna. Moving on from Tamoguna to Rajoguna to Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna, one is calm, quiet, and composed. But this could also be a bondage. When you live with family, you don't want no TV, no noise, things that things are not in respectable places. Things are different. I have to look for things that they need a routine, not without any disturbance. They need a quiet place without much of activities. They don't need many things, only needs but no wants. Minimalistic mindset. When these situations are not available, humans are in bondage due to sattva guna. They get upset at home when two people are talking and, oh, please quiet, be quiet. And they want quietness. So they don't want to go anywhere, but then the children say, come on, let's go out and eat, kind of things, They want sattva guna, they want calm, quiet, composed routine, their own routine. So in a family, each member is with different gunas. That's the reason for disagreements and conflicts. The last quality of sattva guna is longing for knowledge, strong, persistent eagerness to learn more, a hunger or a thirst to know more, whether secular knowledge or spiritual knowledge. Even those who have studied for several years would like to learn more. What next? I am done with all these Prakarana Granthas. I am done with the Upanishad. What next? Let me go to Karika. So Sanatana Dharma is like a forest, but the gist is Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. I do not need to know anything else. I am existence, consciousness, bliss, one alone is. All in me, I am in all. He said in chapter 4. So Tamoguna and Sattva-guna are opposites. They appear to be similar. Tamoguna is lethargic, inactive. Sattva-guna is knowledge, wisdom, and inactive. Both empty pot and the full pot won't make any noise. Only when the pot is half filled, it'll make the sound, right? So Sattva Guna binds one with knowledge and quietness, silence, peace. Rajoguna binds one with constant activities. Tamoguna binds one with carelessness, lethargic, and sleep. So these three gunas are in every being, and one is always predominant than the other two. Humans are not classified. These gunas qualities change from person to person and from time to time, even in the same person. Like, one can wake up in the morning 4:35, read for a couple of hours. That time that person is in sattva guna. Then after 9, they get ready and they are in activities. That is rajoguna. At the end of the day, they are exhausted, they are tired physically and mentally. They just sit around try to read a book or watch TV. That is tamoguna. So it is in every human being, but at any given time, one is predominant than the other two. All beings have all these three gunas. All beings are born with tamoguna. We can see that is why the infants, they sleep for 20 hours a day. All they can do is keep on sleeping. By 2 years, they start running around, climbing, falling. That is Rajoguna. By 4 years, 3, 4 years, then they start learning. They are so curious to know about animals and plants, etc. That is sattva guna, curiosity. So one who is in tamoguna can come out of it only by rajoguna. Similarly, one with rajoguna can come out of it only with sattva guna. Then with the help of sattva guna, one transcends beyond gunas. That is gunatitan, meaning cross all gunas. This is the goal of life. Now we talked about the qualities of gunas, how they bind us. Now, how do I identify which guna I am in? That is referred to as guna linga. Linga means pointer. Okay, which guna am I in? What is my guna? Only when you know where you are, you can move forward. Verse 11, he says, Sattva guna, whenever all the senses and the mind are fully alert and ready to grasp, fully focused without distraction, that's when one is in Sattva guna. This is even for in regular work, at work, or you have to be fully focused. That we call it optimum performance time. This changes again from person to person. Some are very in Sattva guna at night time, some are during the daytime, some are in the morning. This changes from person to person. So when we are not fully focused, we are not in Sattva guna. Even in day-to-day activities like gardening, cooking, or organizing the garage, spring cleaning, and your family members come and try to share something very important that they think, then we tend to say, don't tell me now, I'm in the middle of something, or I'm busy right now, I will listen to you later. That means you are not ready to grasp that information. You are already in this, focusing on this. Therefore, the thirst for knowledge, the power to grasp that knowledge as is, ability to assess any situation objectively without taking sides, and to know how to speak, when to speak, what to say, what not to say, how to behave. All these things are sattva guna. Rajoguna is again, verse 12, excessive desire, greed for wealth, selfishness, and also frugality. Most of you can see people live poor, frugality, and die rich. So we need to share what we have with others. I need to have it all without sharing is Rajoguna. Whatever we have, we can share it with others. That is what is emphasized here. We are all co-passengers. We do not possess anything. We have borrowed everything. We have plenty to enjoy, but we own nothing. We are all, I would say, we are all distributors. We get from here and then we try to give it, share with others. Our life could be much worse than what we are right now. There are people who are struggling in life. We own nothing, but we have abundance. That mindset, that is very important. Something else came. Okay. When in Rajoguna, that is the symbolism of Akshaya Patra. I have abundance, everything. Let me share. So now it has become a business in India. Akshaya Patra Day. They sell a lot of gold. So when in Rajoguna, we always want to be active. I need to do this, I need to do that, call that person, email this person, get this from the grocery. All these things are there. They're all continuously acting. The mind is always wants the body to act. That's why it is encouraged to make a list and forget about it. So whenever you want to do, you can make a list. To buy, all the list. To call, make a list. So that way you can spend the rest of the time on this ability. Mind can stay focused instead of just thinking about all those. So Sanatana Dharma divides actions into two types. One is useless, wasteful activities, both physically and mentally unproductive activities. Second one is planned activities. When the mind has constant thought flow, the mind is agitated as to what to do next and all the to-do list leading to actions. Shankara says the agitated mind is often confused with when an unforeseen circumstances arises and when one needs to be able to think clearly, objectively, critically to make a decision. Should I do this or not? Should I do that? What is the best thing? Pros and cons. Analyzing, critically thinking, making that decision is, you need to have that ability to think clearly. So when you are constantly in thoughts, you cannot think. The mind is unable, tamoguna mind is unable to grasp, not alert. Like when we are half asleep, negligent, carelessness, unattentive, delusional, being in your own box or cubicle, even in day-to-day activities, planning for a bigger task, assuming responsibilities are all important. These three gunas can only be recognized by the effects. These are not to be classify the people, but to identify where we are so we can detour and move on as needed. Now we have covered what are the attributes of gunas, how these gunas cause bondages, how can one identify where I am, and the fourth one is what are the benefits of gunas. He gives into two different aspects. One is after death, after shedding this body, and another one is while alive. After death, he says, when a jiva constantly in the thought of Atman sheds the body, migrates to a plane where is ever pure and serene universe called Swargaloka or Brahmaloka, in that loka that you can call it heaven, it is tranquil and peaceful. This jiva goes there, enjoys until all his good karmas, punyas are exhausted and returns to earth. This earth is called karma bhumi. Only here we can realize, Atma can realize, because in other worlds there's no physical body. It's only the Sukshma Sharira. So he is, however, not liberated from the bondages until self-knowledge is gained. In verse 15, he says, one who dies while in Rajoguna is reborn in an environment where there is a heavy demand for both physical and mental activities. Teachers, farmers, CEOs, surgeons, constant activities. And in same verse 15, line 2, he says, one who dies in Tamoguna takes the animal or plant form to exhaust one's karma. They do not accumulate any new karma during that time, but they can come back as humans based on the past karmas from the previous births. These are after death, cannot be proved. One need to just trust the scriptures. Now, verse 16, he talks about while alive, one who is in Sattva Guna gets purity in the mind, holiness, and inner peace. One who is in Rajoguna while alive, the Rajoguna causes challenges, agitations, sufferings, and sorrows. Constantly, mind is agitated. One who is in Tamoguna in this birth, while alive, leads to ignorance and delusion. In any field, higher officials get paid more than the frontline workers. To be in that state, one needs to be sattvic, to learn, to grow, to think, to decide to be a leader, be objective, mentally alert, unbiased, proactive, and visionary. A laborer uses one's body and is able to be active for an extended period of time. That a laborer can work for 12, 14, 18, 16 hours. He is physically exhausted and a physical rest will help him to recover faster. Whereas mental fatigue is much deeper. So that is why Krishna in 6.6 says, do not be a slave to the mind, keep it in check. Education, employment, traveling will all give considerable exposure to acquire knowledge. This opens up the mind and increases Sattva Guna. The more you travel, you see the differences, you see the unity among diversity. Rajoguna always involves oneself in activities, personal achievements, accomplishments, fulfilling one's dreams. Tamoguna progression is slow. Therefore, we say try and try again until you succeed. Because even if one fails, you learn something, what not to do. So explore all avenues. These help one to move on from tamoguna to rajoguna. Only the challenges, suffering, struggles leads one towards progression, advancement, evolution. If one is not challenged, one is always in the comfort zone. One cannot move from tamoguna to sattvaguna directly. There is no fast track, there is no shortcut. So verse 18, he says, repeats that those who die while in sattvaguna is at the top, rajoguna is in the middle, and tamoguna is in the lower animal plant existence. That is why constant, regular, consistent self-reflection is emphasized. Now the question is, how can one go beyond sattvaguna? The path is tamoguna to rajoguna. Tamoguna to rajoguna is through karma yoga. Every human needs to assume a responsibility, be committed to it without expecting appreciation or recognition. As an offering to divine, attain self-knowledge and with constant awareness, that is nididhyasana, renounce activities in the mind as a doership to attain moksha and liberation. First is karma yoga. From rajoguna, now you do upasana, which is prayer, meditation, worship, that takes you to sattvaguna. When you are in sattvaguna, you are ready to absorb the knowledge, self-knowledge. Then you do nididhyasana, which is a practice on that knowledge. Only at this stage, mind is calm without agitation. Only in sattvaguna. One needs knowledge and single-pointed focus. Both are equally important. Even to attend Vedantic studies, full focus, concentrated, undivided attention is required. It is a challenge. Needs thinking. Vedanta needs thinking, analyzing, questioning, which is a hard task. It's easy to just perform rituals because you are not thinking. It's just following directions. That doesn't mean that it is any less of I would say, importance. But it is, one has to move from there to the next level. We cannot be always in elementary school. Once we get that, we have to move on to the next one. The path of inquiry, the knowledge, Atmajnana. Both in Rajoguna, Tamoguna and Rajoguna, one can only be active physically and mentally, but only in Sattvaguna, one can calmly think, assess the pros and cons, and able to grasp the intended meaning. These three gunas are of the mind. I am not the mind. I illumine the mind. Only with this knowledge, one can be free from the mind. The mind is the one that binds a jiva to all. We should be able to see the mind as we see a pen or a paper or a pencil. Mind is a part of the world. I am the seer. Aham and idam. I and this. Anything, this is not me. I am that Atma, supreme presence, ever presence, consciousness, bliss. I am not the mind, three gunas. All activities are performed by this body, mind, and intellect. They are the doers, they are the enjoyers. I am akarta, abhokta. I am neither the doer nor the enjoyer. An individual jiva with that knowledge crosses all gunas, therefore gets relieved from struggles, sufferings, and sorrows. One who sees oneself beyond these three gunas exists as Atma, that is existence. Just be, nothing else. So none of these bodies problems are me. They are of this body. It's like my car is outside, the tire is punctured, or the steering wheel doesn't work. It's not me. It's just the tool transporting me from point A to point B. Same thing with all this body and the mind. Now verse 20, Sacha Gunatitan, realize one wins over birth, old age, and death. Body will go through 6 changes. We have seen that many places. But he is not disturbed. Whatever happens to this body is happening to this body. It is normal, natural, but I am the seer of healthy body and unhealthy body. Such a person is realized immortal as Atman. Inner presence lives in this inert body, yet not part of it. Thus, with this self-knowledge, a jiva crosses three gunas. Verse 21, Arjuna is asking three questions to Krishna. Describe an individual who has accomplished this. Now, responses from 22 and 23, what qualities does he possess? How can one realize the realized one? So Krishna says, no one from outside can identify a jnani, a sage. He alone knows. He, the realized, is convinced that I am not the mind with three gunas. I am the seer of the mind. Mind has three gunas all the time, but one guna is predominant over the other two. Because a jnani isolates himself from this mind, he is not affected whichever guna the mind is in. He is neither elated nor dejected. Humans are generally overjoyed, ecstatic when they get something good, and they are sad and tormented when something opposite happens. Whether the mind is in Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, or Tamaguna, a jnani is not concerned. Of course, in transactional life, the situation could happen, could arise, but a sage is conscious of it. Even sage Shankara was in Rajoguna. That is why he could travel India around twice on his foot and establish Advaita Mutt and could write several books. But he knew, this is all of the mind, body. So jnani is always equanimous, whether appreciated or insulted. When you feel that way, know that you are beyond three gunas, gunatita. Watch how you respond to situations and people's comments. Jnani does not aspire for sattva guna or is concerned with any gunas of the mind. He lives in a bhava, in an attitude that these gunas come and go, and they are of the mind and is unperturbed. In reality, situations and people do not offend us. It is the mind in the body, the interpretation of the mind in us is what offends us. Norman Vincent Peale's quote, it is not what happens to you that affects you, it is how you respond to what happens, that's what affects you. Again, in Gita 6.6, your mind is your enemy, your mind is your friend, says Krishna. Now 24 and 25, he says, how does a jnani interact with the world? That's the question. So response is, mentally he is equanimous towards everyone and in all situations. There are no needs, there are no dislikes. There's no resistance, absolutely, except what is. He is content with whatever comes his way. Right? That's the song, K, Sara, Sara, whatever will be. So that is a mindset. He is neither fascinated by gold or repelled by a rock. To him, both diamond and rock, both are same. Both are rocks. Verse 25, he is the one who performs on this earth without expecting, without what is in it for me attitude, and is not affected by three gunas, and therefore is free. In Sattva Guna, knowledge. Self-knowledge is the only knowledge. Everything else is an information. In Rajoguna, excessive desires. In Tamoguna, delusion and inactivity. Verse 26 and 27, how did he become beyond three gunas? We remember in chapter 6.34, Arjuna asked Krishna, Chanchala hi manaha. My mind is always agitated. How can I go there? How can I be beyond gunas? Krishna responds to it in 14.26 here. Ananya Bhakti. Anya means different, another. Ananya means without another. By surrendering unto me without a second in your mind, Oftentimes we approach Lord for something. We use Lord as a tool. Please give me this. Please give me that. Whereas a jnani says, I don't want anything from this transactional life. Everything is temporary, anityam. I want you. I want to realize you. Lord's grace is here with everyone, just like electricity. But if you want electricity, you need to have from the place, you have to have a controller and then bring it into the house and have a switch. Water is everywhere, but you have to have a tap inside the house to get water. So air is everywhere, but in your room, if you need air, you need a fan. Same thing. No, grace is everywhere, but you have to do your effort. Yeah, like we are all in the spiritual path in spirituality because we chose this path to know, to listen, to understand, to contemplate, and to practice. We could be anywhere elsewhere right now, doing something or the other. So humans have the freedom to choose. There could be several obstacles during their spiritual journey, but that bhakti, that devotion is absolutely necessary. To have that mental maturity to lead, to pursue this path with commitment, one needs to be devoted. Devoted to scriptures and Guru. Advaita practice is not a hobby. It's not once in a while. Even to move on, progress from tamoguna to rajoguna to sattoguna, one needs devotion. To meditate, one needs devotion. Otherwise, what do you meditate on? One needs the knowledge. To listen to scriptures, one needs devotion. To trust the words of Krishna, one needs devotion. So from the beginning till end, that is bhakti, one needs devotion, as referred by all sages. Therefore, bhakti and association with satsang, with like-minded people who study scriptures, practice, that is devotion. Together with devotion, observance of righteousness, dharma, such individuals go beyond gunas. With that, chapter 14 is ending. Now I'm going to share the screen as often, as always I do. This is chapter 14. We are going into this. Verse 1 is saying, I'm going to give you this knowledge again, knowing which many have attained siddhi, that is moksha, by knowing it. Knowledge comes from learning. Wisdom comes from living. That is a practicing of what you have learned. Knowledge is easier to get it, actually. You get the knowledge, I am Aham Brahmasmi, but then practicing it and staying put in that dhrudam, that is the challenge. This is a supreme knowledge, realize it. Purusha and Prakriti. Here Prakriti is referred as Mahat Brahma, supreme. This Prakriti, Maya, is the material cause of all appearances, generator. Brahma. Four-faced Brahma is the creator with three gunas, that is referred as Saguna Brahman. Prakriti, Mahat Brahma, is the place of birth of all forms of moving and non-moving creatures which appear from devas to grass, and I am the seed, I am the Nirguna Brahman. And each one of us is that. Maya, which is Prakriti, is that which is non-existent. It doesn't really exist, but we are caught in this. So as long as you are within that, you will not be able to realize it unless you come out. That which has got three qualities, that which is leaning on Brahman, that which is indescribable. As long as you are in this bubble, you won't be able to know. Like a fetus doesn't know the mother unless it comes out. A battery flat light can show everything around, but it cannot show the battery inside. Same thing. As long as we are in this Maya, in this delusion, we cannot realize that. We have to come out of it. To come out, we have to understand that knowledge. This is a good word. Nibandhanti is a strong bondage. We are all in this strong bondage of Maya. The Atma, the Dehi, is bonded with the body. body, mind. We have to try to get out of it. 3 primary colors, you get tertiary colors. When that is mixed further, secondary colors, and then that is mixed further, you get tertiary colors. So there's only one black color with the multiple colors, and it becomes 3, 3 to 5, and so on. Same thing with our life. Maya is playing all this. Sattva-guna is the quality of goodness, purity, positivity, truth, serenity, balance, peacefulness, and virtuousness that is drawn towards dharma and jnana. Rajas is the quality of passion, activity, neither good or bad, and sometimes either self-centeredness, egoistic, individualistic, driven, moving, dynamic. Tamas is the quality of imbalance, disorder, chaos, anxiety, impure, destructive, delusion, negative, dull or inactive, apathy, inertia or lethargy, violent, vicious, and ignorant. These are the 3 gunas. These are all Saguna Brahman, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. This is how humans are caught in this samsara. Oh, let me go back. This is what people are drawn into samsara. We keep chasing things that are nothing is permanent. Sattva-guna is prakashatmakam, luminous. Rajoguna is ragatmakam, attraction, desire, glamour. Tamoguna is mohatmakam, delusion. Sattva-guna binds one with knowledge, quietness, silence, and peace. Rajoguna binds one with constant activities and achievements. Ragatmakam. Tamoguna is mohatmakam, binds one with carelessness, lethargic, unproductive activities, dull and sleepy. All 3 gunas are of the mind. I illumine the mind. I am not the mind. I am existence, consciousness, bliss. A jnani realized one is part of the world, yet apart from it. Just like a tamarind, it is not going to tamarind and good apple. They don't stick to the skin, So you just be a part of this world. Do what you have to do. Do your karmas, but don't get entangled into it. The Supreme Divine Personality said, O Arjuna, the persons who are transcendental to the 3 gunas, they neither hate illumination nor activities, nor even delusion when these are abundantly present. Nor do they long for them when they are absent. They remain neutral in the modes of nature and are not disturbed by them. Knowing it is only the gunas that act. I'm not acting. They are established in the self without wavering. They know, they don't care for whether it is a diamond or a rock. I don't care. Whether it is a clay or a gold, all are material. That's it. I don't care for anything. This is Ananya Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Abhyavicharani Bhakti. All mean the same. Bhakti without any other thought occupying the mind. Those who serve me with unalloyed devotion rise above the 3 modes of material nature and come to the level of Brahman. So always just do your duty, whatever it is, based on your ashrama, whether brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Do your duty, and whether based on your aptitude, gunas, that is that. Just keep doing it. Do not expect anything from this material world. You already have abundance. We all come naked, we go naked, nothing can come with us. With that, we complete chapter 14. Let me complete here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.